All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Sport webinar. Today's date is December 1st, 2018. This is a Saturday morning webinar, and the title of today's webinar is Memorize These Trade Setups. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right, if not, we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, just real quick, I want to let you know some things that'll be hopefully coming the first part of the year. You know, we've been talking to our programmer. I'm supposed to see the first draft of Object Trader Ninja 8 panel this weekend. I'm hoping to see that for sure. And then once we get that panel nailed down and the trades and things like that, then it's just a matter of writing the code to actually take the trades. The panel's the hardest part of it. And Ninja 8 did a lot of changing too. Okay, but you should be able to see my screen here. This is the member area of the site. What I think we're going to do in the very near future is, like this ebook here, the Phantom Trades Explained. I'm going to go through and do some little like ebooks and explain, you know, the lightning type setups, what identified lightning is, and all the different things that we talk about in webinars, but in some shorter videos. So we'll get to working on that probably right after Christmas. Okay. And let's go ahead and go to a chart first off. All right. This is ES. I didn't have time. I barely got replay data downloaded. For some reason, the download server was down for the last 2 hours. So I was able to finally get into it. And so we finally got some data. So I'm on the 28th of the month, not yesterday. But looking at this chart, just what you're seeing right here, it's really important. You know, Charles, I know, talks about this a lot in his webinars too. You know, we put our colors on our chart for a really good reason, and they do give some really good, you know, early turning points and things like that. But you do also have to look at swings, okay? It's pretty important. Now, we don't want to get in so late that, you know, for instance, this is well, everybody's already guessed it. It is no question about it. You know, is basically pretty much an uptrend, right? I'll go ahead and draw Lightning 4. See if I can get Lightning 4 to draw. All right. Now, pretty much, you know, low, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. So, you know, if you put your line underneath here, you're pretty much an uptrend until they take that out, right? Okay. But you also have your Lightning 3, and I'll draw it. Let's draw it from right here. Lightning 3 is control key. All right. Now I look at this like, let's say 26.97 and a quarter, 26.98. That's only 3 ticks different. That is not an identified swing. Everybody see that? Even your Lightning 3 identified swing is right down here, like so. Everybody see that on the left? Okay, let's see. The new midband script doesn't work yet for me, at least. Kenneth, by the way, everybody, I sent out the new VIP Pro Ultimate X19 just a little while ago. Be sure and change that out before the next, you know, trading session, because over the weekend your scripts are expiring. I think they expired this morning, as a matter of fact, on the midband script. Now, if you're using the template that I've got on the website, that should not affect you, because I use a different one. I use the Power Trend, Object Trader Power Trend. Okay, is Lightning 4 bigger trend? How do you get to Lightning 4, Lewis? On your question, Lewis, Lightning 4 is actually, if you go into your indicators, your Lightning 4 is actually a 12 range chart. See, we're looking at a 12 range with a 5 swing strength. Now, if you think about 12 range with 5 swing strength, that, you know, you'd basically think of 5 times 12, which is 60, right? But, you know, the way bars form is they don't go up 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, and 12, right? They go up, 12, pull back, 60 some odd percent of it, and then go up 12 again, pull it back 61, 12 again. So, basically that's more than likely about a 30, 35 tick. Sometimes it's a lot more than that because this has to swing both ways to draw this. So that's why it's so important. For instance, see here, this went from 64 all the way to 91, 74 all the way to 92, 83 all the way to 98. So those are pretty good swings. Okay, that's your lightning 4. Now your lightning 3, you'll notice here, you're basically just kind of going sideways. Now keep in mind that we also use lightning 1 and 2, right? So let's draw it. And basically your little lightning 2, all right, why won't you draw lightning 2? There we go. Okay, lightning 2, notice how lightning 2 is just right down here at that support line that I just drew. Why did it do that? Anybody? That's because that is the identified swing. We're going to talk in depth on identified swings, I think, on Monday, if I remember right. We're going to be talking about lightning. And notice how this did do a lightning 3, high, low. When did we know this was a high or low? When it took out the high. It thrusts up, it pulls back. Would this be a new low if it took out this high? And the answer is yes, but you want to take it out by a few ticks, not just this little wicking, stuff like that. Okay, now on this side of the chart, on the right side of the chart, this did break down, high, low, lower high, lower low. So could you actually box in this area right here to take that short? Yes, but your backgrounds won't change yet. Okay, but see, this is actually getting a 1, 2, 3, and then you could box in. Now, to me, that's not breaking that enough to actually do that yet. And I'm also looking at this side of the chart too. Okay, and I think it's pretty important to look at both sides of your chart. All right, now the trade setups we're going to talk about today that you're going to want to memorize. And I did watch Charles's webinar before we started this room this morning. And I heard him mention that if you don't like phantom trades, don't take them. Some people don't like them because they don't work for them. Well, I hate to tell you this, but if they're not working for you, you're not trading them right. Okay. I've gone over probably 100 times how a phantom works, and we're going to do it again today. Okay. Because a phantom works, but you can't sit there like a deer in the headlights and, let it, retrace another 10 ticks and then jump in it. That doesn't work. You've got to take them the way they're designed, and they will work. Matter of fact, we'll just go through several charts and show where they worked and where they didn't work. Okay. That's one of my personal favorites because that particular trade is deep enough that you're almost getting a trend change. Remember when we talked about when there's blood in the streets, you go long? When they go low, we go high. That's kind of a little political, but I like it. It works. So when they go down, for instance, we're going to go long as we're still in the overall trend, right? Okay. So that's one of my favorite trades. The mid-band box with criteria. Now, the mid-band box, what I personally like on a mid-band box is a tight mid-band box. Just 2 or 3 candles that are literally side by side. I don't like a candle up, a candle up, a candle up, and then them back down, and then you got a big old 15 tick box. Those will kick your tail every time. They get all of us because we get to where we decide to jump in and take a trade when we probably shouldn't. Okay. Now, what you want to do if you do take a trade out of a bigger box, don't let it go back against you. I heard one of the guys in Charles's webinar on Thursday said that, and I believe that too. I think it was Walter said that if you do take, one of those box in type trades, you can pay your broker a quick fee for a couple of contracts and not let it go back all the way against you. Because if these things are going to break, they're going to break. Okay, that's a good rule of thumb. I like a trend line trade. We talked about that in a webinar. I think it was last Monday night, as a matter of fact. Okay. Now, some people have really been interested in doing some good scalping. Scalping can make you money because, the whole thing is that the market does not move always in a straight up type or a straight down. There's a lot of sideways stuff, and you can definitely scalp those. Okay. That's another trade that I'm going to teach you tonight and get you to where you'll want to memorize it. Okay. And an early trend change is important too. Okay. Because, when I look at, for instance, this right here, is this actually a high, a low, a lower high, and a lower low? Well, it is. And that's like an early trend change on this side of the chart. So you could get a scalp down to here. You see what I'm getting at? And then when it bounces off of here, you want to be looking very possibly at, jumping back in long above midband. Depends on what color the midband turns, though. Okay. Let me see. Raymond says, I really, really want to learn how Kitty scalped, or even, some of our other people as far as that goes. Let's see. Lewis asked something. No, Lewis, I'm not recommending Lightning 4 opposed to Lightning 3. I'm just saying that you need to be able to recognize all four trends. Mindy, if you didn't get the new scripts, I just sent those out about an hour ago. But I can get them to you right after this closes. That's not a problem. Keep in mind, if your midband is still working today, don't worry about anything because everything you've got is working. Okay? Because my charts that I use in the room, on my midband scripts and everything, I use this particular indicator. Let's whoops down here, called the power trend. Did I miss it? Must have been up here. Yeah, right here. I use this one. Okay. This is actually in the Object Trader script, so you don't have to worry about it changing your midband. If you've got your midband being this one right here, then that did expire. Okay. But like I say, the template that's even on the website is my exact template that I use in the trading room each and every day. Okay. Now, another thing, and it depends on, if a person wants to scalp with a few contracts or, they want to go for runners and things like that, you've got to kind of decide exactly how you want to do that. Okay. Because it's important that if you're going to scalp, for instance, you're just going to scalp and then you're going to look for the next trade setup. But you're going to kick yourself a lot of times when it runs 100 ticks too. Okay, so that's the thing about scalping. But if you scalp, let's say that you did 2 contracts on ES and you scalped it 5 times in the morning, and that you got your 5 right because you learned how to trade the way we teach. What if you got those 5 right with 2 contracts? That's 250 times 5 is 1250. Okay. Everybody, if you've got your charts on just real quick, just see if you've got something up here in this corner that says VIP dynamic trend, then yours is probably expired. If you're using our new template, you don't have to worry about that. Okay, because our new template actually has those scripts built into it. All right, let's see. Yeah, you got to restart it for the script to work. Exactly. All right, Cross, on your question. No, you won't even need them, I don't think, Cross, because you've got my template. Yeah, if you've got this particular template right here that I use, Object Power Meter MTF, and that's the one you're using, then don't even worry about those scripts. We just sent them out just simply for people that are using it. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and decide how we want to trade this, okay? Y'all want to see if we can, kind of trade this? Let's say, for instance, that we wanted to scalp this side. All right, right here. Now, I've got a scalp template actually already done right now. Now, if you want to go to Object Trader and actually save a template, see this particular template here, I saved with 10, 10, and 10, and with 3 contracts. And then I named it scalp. Okay. This particular one over here is just simply your normal template, except I put 3 contracts on it. You can name a bunch of templates if you want. Okay. But let's say, for instance, that I wanted to, just literally scalp. Maybe I see a trend line that I want to scalp. Keep in mind that my background hadn't changed yet, so I could be taking a chance on a trend line break, right? Okay. What if I want to look for one of my favorite trades, like right up here? First time after a trend change, we do look for a phantom trade. Let's see, I'm horrible with stops, always following too close, realizing I need to set up. Okay. Cross, on your question right there, I think if you put too tight of stops, you'll get stopped out too much. But you do want the trade to go your direction too. Okay, let's just see if we can get a scalp on this one just for the fun of it. Let's see if we got a wedge the other way. Yeah, let's draw it both ways. That I don't like as much, but I'll go ahead and take it if it does it. Let's just see which way this decides to go. I'm leaning more up simply because of the high, the low, the higher highs. Okay, but let's just see if we can get something, and we're just strictly going to scalp this. And I'll do a touch +1. That would be touch +2 technically, because it has to go one tick above and one tick to confirm. See if we get something. Just a scalp is all I'm looking for. Oh, forgot to turn that one on, didn't I? There we go. Now keep in mind, we've got a little tool that'll actually make that background green if you want it to. Like with a trend line. Let's just see if this little trade, this is one of my favorite little trades here too. But, keep in mind, if you're going to take it, you really do want to scalp it, because I'm going against the background here if this, and mid-band. But if this does break up and touches +1, I'll put a tight stop on it, and we'll see if we get something. Didn't get anything yet. Still nothing. Still nothing. Let's speed it up just a little bit. It's going only 3 times. We'll go 5 or 6 times normal speed. It's either going to get me short and possibly get me 10 ticks, or it's going to get me long and get me possibly 10 ticks if it breaks that trend line. There we go. We just got it. Now we got 3 contracts on, so all 3 of those targets went to that one deal. Okay, notice that all 3 targets are on one line. Now I can go ahead and tighten my stop just in case, and either put it on exit on close or not. Just going to scalp it. Now, by the way, once I get in the coin like that, I can go ahead and tighten that stop a little bit if I want to again. Okay. Don't go into getting into reversing, because those type of trades can pretty much kill you. You gotta be careful with those. It looks like we're gonna get our scalp. I'd probably, more than likely, since we're doing a scalp only, we want to be, obviously we're not running a runner. We're just simply scalping 10, 10, and 10. I'd put my stop just right underneath that swing, or break even by now. And you can even set up Object Trader to do your stop at 10 instead of 15. See, we just got a scalp. Okay, that trade setup was simply a trend line. Okay, that was simply a trend line. All right, now let's see here. If you wanted to, you could box, like, see, here's a lightning 3 to the left right here. Could you actually box this right here if it breaks this? Could you do that even? That's like a lot of times Charles talks about a mid-band trade. You can box it both ways, by the way. But let's just wait for a thrust and a retrace and see if we can get something. See what happens here. Got a green stealth that could actually pop through mid-band. See that green stealth? I'm going to buy it right above mid-band, and I'm going to put a really tight stop on it. The reason I did that, this is a scalp. Is it going to get me? Well, if it does, I'll give up 7 of my ticks. I'm going to put it on exit on close. Now, that particular trade I took basically because of this little green stealth. Okay. Now, what have I got setting up right now? Anybody? What about a phantom trade? Now, keep in mind, I would want to do that on a scalp, just to mid-band, is what I would probably want to do. I want to put my stop just inside, just in case. I don't want to get a bunch of this taken away. This is actually a true phantom trade, first time in after a trend change. Everybody see that? And I'd probably protect it even there. You only got 4 ticks to lose now. And it looks like you got all of your targets except 2 of them. And I'd tighten it up even more simply because you've got a swing right across here. Let's see if we can get it. Or if we get stopped out. And we got our target. Okay. See how I just scalped that? Now I should have used this chart to scalp this though. See how I had to manipulate this one instead? This one over here, I already had set for 10, 10, and 10. So, would that have gotten me 10 ticks? That's what some of our people are doing. They're actually scalping these trades. Now this looks like it's breaking out. See that trend line break? See it right there? What do y'all think? I think I just missed that line 6. I'm not going to take it now. Yep, too late. See how it just kissed line 6? Now, if you miss line 6, just barely touching line 6, you don't really want to take the trade after that. Okay, because what if it doesn't make this and it makes a higher low? Because we're trying to get 10 ticks. That might have been 10 ticks. See it? From line 6 to mid-band. Everybody see that? Let's see, Lewis, you asked, does the principles remain the same on phantoms despite overall trend being up or down? Well, yeah, the phantom trade has, that criteria set up, and I'm going to go over that in real depth here in just a couple of minutes, okay? Because let's stop this for just a second. Let's look at some phantom trades. All right, what's our rule for phantom trades, everybody? Let's just start over here. Let's start anywhere you want as far as that goes. Let's start, we've got a downtrend. We got a phantom right here, okay? If you actually hit it at line 7, did that trade work out? No. Is that a phantom trade? If you boxed it, did you get it? It technically, but it changed to green, didn't it? Okay? So this particular phantom trade right here went right up through line 6, line 7, rolled over right through here, but by the time it did, you had a green back mid-band, so it was not a phantom. Okay, is this a phantom down here? No, because see, it changed to magenta then. Where's your phantoms? Right here and here. So now this one I don't personally like because it just touches line 6. I like it to actually go above line 6 and then go back. But if you do want to take this particular trade anyway, if it even touches line 6, you got to click the market order and try to get those 10 ticks on a scalp. Okay. Now, where's your next phantom trade? Let's see. We got a green mid-band. Okay, so our phantom's down here, right? So we're looking only at this area right here. And if it stair steps up, you got to move your box. Is that a phantom? Anybody? Is that a phantom trade there? Mid-band is yellow. Now you do have that red background. Okay, you do have that red background. So, this is one of those you got to make your own decision up because it did change the background. Okay, but this is actually, yes, a legitimate phantom trade. Okay, let's see if it worked. Never got it. Box in, now it went to the magenta. See how that works? For instance, if you don't want to just take this willy-nilly, see, this one never touched line 2, so no phantom. This one never touched line 1 and did a box, so no trade. But if you're a gutsy trader and you take line 1, then you got to get out of it quick. Okay. Now you've got a magenta midband. Let's see where your phantom is. Nope, no phantom. See that? Now you're green. See how this phantom never boxed in, never got it? That's what I'm talking about phantoms. If you look for the trade, it's got to go between line 6 and line 7. And if it goes between line 6 and line 7 and then it breaks back below line 6, you can take that. Okay, and sometimes it's fairly quick. Now your phantom is down here. You're looking for a phantom. Now it's here. Just bring your box over. Is that a legitimate phantom? Close back above line 2. I'd take that. I put my stop right there. Let's just do it. I don't know what it's going to do, but let's just put our stop. Now you can put your stop here. Now, if you want to really get some good phantom trades, you almost have to put your stop at line 0. But if you got in at 70 and a quarter and you put your stop at 67, that's 12 ticks or so, or better even, probably 14. But let's see if it worked. Felt a little heat. See what I mean? They would have got you if you put it right under here. And then you got a phantom trade. 10 ticks, scalp, that's what you could look for. Or you could keep riding this trade if you wanted to. See, and then it stopped you out. And let's see if we get another phantom trade. Mid-band is short. So you're looking for phantom up here instead. Almost phantom. Did box in and got you a short, but that was not a phantom. There's a phantom. Did it get 10 ticks? Yep. See there? Still short, so you're looking for phantom again, right? Didn't ratchet down below the low, but it did this one, so I'd consider that still a phantom. Let's see if we can get something. Phantom again, right? Closed above line 6, back below line 6, phantom, 10 ticks. And you got your 10 ticks, by the way. See if we get another one. There's a mid-band that's green. Phantom's down here now. I don't know why this particular trade gets disparaged in certain webinars, but I'm going to preach on it until the cows come home. I'm just moving this box so we can see where it's at. That doesn't mean there's not other trades, because we're going to talk about some of my other favorite trades here too. But I want to show you how these phantom trades as a rule do work out. It's even another day. There's a phantom trade. 10 ticks. Boom. 3 contracts is $375, right? This must have been a line I had on my own chart. Where's your phantom now? It's still long, right? So you're looking at that area. Now this area. Now this area. There's a phantom setting up. Could you box this? Could you do a trend line? Looks like we just did a trend line a few minutes ago. So let's see. Could you actually take this as a phantom trade? We'll find out. All right, hadn't closed above line 6 yet. Now you can box it. And you didn't get a phantom as yet, right? So you'd box it. Boxed in still. You might have gotten faked on that one. Let's just give that a loss. Let's give it a loss. That's fair. Right now you're magenta again. Let's give that one a loss. That's fine. Phantom, right? 10 ticks. Easily 10 ticks. Okay. And then you're at the end of the deal. Okay. So let's see if we can, oh, and by the way, you're also breaking this trend line, which we took just a few minutes ago, because that's one of my favorite trades also. Now, like I was saying, we do have a little tool. If you want to use it, and kind of get your mind away from backgrounds and things like that, let me just show you the tool. Let's go ahead and, well, you just see we took those just then. Let's go ahead and take that off. And we'll do this little indicator that we've got called True Trend. Now, what True Trend actually does is basically, let's say you were watching this and you were actually drawing, you drew a trend line. You can set your major, for instance, when we saw this, it was like this, right? That's what we were looking at. So if you engage that, whoops, wrong window. Bear with me a second. It's got to be on the same panel as the input. Now we got to draw it again, unfortunately. See, and basically after that, you've actually got, see your downtrend, and now you've got your uptrend here. And you can use this particular little tool if you want, because it'll actually change the background. I think I've got my colors off right now, but this should actually be changing that to green now. Okay, I'll have to look at it and see I may not have everything set right. But anyway, you can see clearly that it actually draws the trend line, and then it changes the background and everything when it pops above that trend line. Okay. Don't be afraid of, trend lines simply because they flat work. Okay. I recommend, utilizing trend lines for scalps myself, especially if you go against the trend. Do you have a video on that, for that chart? No, actually, Raymond, we don't. This is just an indicator that we use. It's called True Trend. You can set everything on it, just kind of play around with it and see what you think. It's actually a pretty elaborate little indicator I had designed, and then we gave it to everybody. But I like it. I don't use it all the time because I can see these trend lines to begin with. I've just trained my eye to see them. And for instance, when that broke up, that was a decent little scalp. Okay, let's go into some other favorite trades. Let's just fast forward this and let's look for some favorite trades. Okay, mid-band's green. What are we looking for? Anybody? Let's diagnose our chart and see if we can get it. Okay, we have a low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. They cannot take out this swing if we're going to head up, right? So where are we looking for a trade on this chart? Little sweet spot. Unless they take this out. Now, could this be a fake? Usually if it crooks up, not as much. Have you ever noticed that sometimes you'll get a sideways and even sideways on the green? You got to be careful if it does that. But when it actually hooks up like that, as a rule, that's a pretty good little trend change. And so you're looking for this little trade down in here. Now this would be a trade that you'd want to do either a region box or a predictor. Let's just see how it works. I'll fire it if I see it. We don't want the scalp one as much. There it is right there, actually. Oh, I missed it. Doggone it. I missed it. I tried to hit market right there, and I've got my stuff going 40, 30 times. But I'm going to put my stop here anyway. There we go. We just got us a trade. Now, what if you missed a trade like this? Does anybody see that if they pull back at all that you can actually take them? You know, for instance, if this goes above that previous little swing right there, could I actually see where it's touching above it and put my stop just underneath the swing? You can do that, but that is chasing a trade, so be careful with it. Okay, that's not a minimum criteria, but notice that I was watching my little swings and I was able to actually get that. Okay, now this is one of my favorite trades right here, and this is first time in the mid band after a trend change. Your most and best trade on this particular one is if it at least touches mid band or below it on a long, and vice versa on a short. Okay, now let me ask a quick question, because I know a lot of you have been with us a long time. How did we know this was going to be a trend change? Anybody? I just did a market on that one, cross on your question. I had this silly thing going too fast. I slowed it back down to 1 again, but I had it going 30 times. So it's okay that it came straight down without an ABC. Well, keep in mind again, okay, keep in mind again what you can actually do. If you don't trust this trade down here because it didn't do an ABC, remember we diagnosed it properly though. We have a low, we have a high, we have a higher low, higher high, higher low, and we had this higher high. So diagnosing this chart, we knew that they cannot take out this swing without the trend basically being in jeopardy, right? So you're looking for a higher low than this, even if it's a tick or two. Okay? And could you actually take this trade even, you know, for instance, let's say that instead it would have done this, came down barely, and then could you have boxed it? Yes. Okay? So this is a good little trade. Now, what you can do on this trade, let's say, for instance, you saw this happening in real time, and you happen to say, okay, you know, I know for a fact that these are higher lows and higher highs, so this has got to hold. So if this breaks this, could you take the trade? Yes. Put your stop just under here. That would be a very tight stop. Now with 3 contracts, it costs you probably, you know, 150 of that money that you just made. Okay. And also you saw the predictor setup too. The whole thing is when you're trading like this, what if this doesn't even do a minimum criteria? Are you still able to, you know, for instance, if I wasn't even in this trade right here, could I actually, if it breaks this little swing right across here, could I take a chance with it? You know, like this, and say, you know what, if it does close above this, could I take it and put my stop nice and tight? That's definitely, no question about it, a thrust trade, and more than likely would get you. So you got to be careful with that trade. But what if it doesn't even come down and test line 6? What if it's one of those moves that they just took it to the moon? as a trader, you can still take these trades. The whole thing is, though, you've got to stay, and I've said this a lot of times, don't let it go back against you. For instance, if this little swing right here is going to hold, I could put it on exit on close, put it right under there like that, and I've got a 3-tick stop, basically, and plus a close of a bar. But the close of the bar could still be within the 3 ticks or 5 ticks or whatever, because it just has to close below that line. Everybody see that? Okay. Don't be afraid, to chase a trade if you know that you can put a really, really tight stop. Because I wouldn't be afraid of that trade at all. If I'd been taking a coffee break and I saw this happening like this right here, they thrust up. Sure, I'd want them to pull back to here. I'd want them to pull into, mid-band or something like that, or even here, like so. But what if they don't, and then they start stair-stepping again? Could you box this in? And the answer is yes, but put a very, very, very tight stop on it. If that breaks that little box and you decide you want to go ahead and take it, then put a very tight stop on it. Okay? Because I can tell you this, that there's times that they can just run them. I mean, they'll just run them. They won't even come back and check line 6. Okay? Now, what if you didn't jump in that trade and you decided, you know what? I just missed this thing completely. Well, you have to wait for that other favorite trade of mine, and that's that minimum criteria. Okay? But you don't know how far it's going to go first. Okay? So keep in mind that even on these little trades, and we've taught this for years, and I don't recommend it as much simply because in a lot of trading, if you miss this initial entry down here and they don't pull back at all, you're going to just miss a monster move. Okay? Let's see. So is a minimum criteria only good when it's really thrusting? Well, minimum criteria is really good when you're getting the little pullbacks. Let me just show this real quick. Lightning 3 and lightning. Okay? When you're getting this kind of a move, where they're not even pulling back hardly at all, and each time they take out this, couldn't you put your stop here? If it breaks here, couldn't you put your stop here? A lot of our people do that. And even on this particular chart, if you did take and you draw your lightning, you just have to put your stop underneath the lightning or a very tight stop. See, like this one right here, if you took the break out above it, you'd have to put your stop under lightning or under lightning, then under lightning, and so on. So if you do take a break above, see, your stop would have been right there. Now we're already flat on this one. All right, let's see if we can all pick the next trade. We'll probably just do an ES chart today. Let's go ahead and get rid of our region. Now, what if this thing's still going up? I mean, it's still going up like crazy. What do you think? Anybody? Could you actually take these little breaks, like that? I mean, is that a risky trade if you put your stop right underneath there? You see what I'm getting at? In other words, it's taking out these little swings. Is that a risky trade for me then to put a very, very tight stop on it with a close of a bar? No. Anytime you can take a trade that literally doesn't go against you from the get-go, you can absolutely chase a trade. Okay? Now, that's only, though, when you see that it's not even pulling back at all. I mean, you're not getting this thrust and retrace back to midband, then thrust. You see what I'm getting at? This is just a monster move that you'd be so sorry that you didn't get it, that you can go ahead and box in these little areas. Each time this thing makes a little swing, like right across here, to give an example, is a little swing like that. Here's a little swing right here. See how it thrusts up and pulls right back into it? And when they're in a mood like this, they just keep marching them up. There's a little swing right across there. These are just little lightning pullbacks is all they are, right? See? But like I say, if you take them, just make sure that you realize that we're not talking about, a 15 tick stop or anything like that. We're talking about if it breaks that little box, then it needs to stay above that box. Okay. Let's see if this one actually works out. We took that willy-nilly. Because if you don't do this, there's going to be occasionally times where you stepped away for a cup of coffee and you missed a monster move. I don't know how far this thing went. Let's just see. If it gets us, it gets us. Okay, we're flat. Look at this though. What is that trade? Minimum criteria. I'm going to go ahead and take it. Nice tight stop. That's the minimum criteria above line 6. Okay, now that's a 10 tick stop, so that's going to cost me a little bit. Okay, if they come against me. Now, could this be the end of this trade? Very, very possibly. We're going to find out here in just a moment. If we get a higher low, I'm good to go. Now, instead of doing it like that, could you actually, though, box it or wait for lightning to change? Yeah, because here would be your box like this. For instance, when you were seeing this happen, you're actually seeing it pop above line 6. If it then pulls back a candle, draw your little box. And then off you go. All right, and then just keep raising your stop just in case underneath the swings. And that way you'll tighten your stop each time. Okay, let's get these out of the way. We'll take profit on that one right there. Okay. Does that teach everybody a little bit more? Because I know we've talked a lot of times about not taking like a thrust trade, but look at what's happening first. If they're holding, you'll see this in oil, you'll see this in ES, you'll see it in Russell even. When they break and they don't even come back and kiss stealth, and they don't give you the minimum criteria trade, you had to wait all the way from here to here for a trade? Or could you actually just box the little areas? Yeah. Yeah, you can box the little areas. Okay. I'll do oil for you, Lewis. Everybody see how that worked out, though? That is just definitely not a bad way to trade. And you've got to know by looking at your chart what it would take for the thing to change trends to begin with. Now, if they start taking out this line 6 and do what I call breaking micro, which they basically did it right here, but then they kept going on up. Okay, see where they broke micro? But what you also want to do when you're watching for these trades, if they break micro, you kind of expect them to go down to medium swings, right? Well, your medium swing, you're really looking at like mid-band mostly. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tighten that to line 6. They're holding line 6 again. And that line 6 is a pretty good trade to begin with. See how it's held line 6 all this time? And then they came back below it and they popped up above it. They're holding it again. Okay. If you weren't in this trade like right now, what if you walked into your computer just right now and we just missed that one. Everybody see that? If I was going to box this right here, I just missed it. But could that have been a scalp with a really tight stop underneath the swing? Yes. Okay. Boxing in trades, and again, I say this all the time in the room, if you box in something and it goes your way and you feel very little heat at all, then more than likely you're going to make money on that trade. Now, if they start stair-stepping all over the place, you don't want to do this. Just to give an example, like, this is smooth. See, if you looked at this, you've got a high, you've got a low, you've got a higher high, higher low than this one, higher high, higher low, higher high. And you can do that kind of trade, especially when you just barely pull back. This particular one, that I did here just to show. This was actually taken off some live charts, but what I did is I just hand drew them looking at the actual swings so that I could show people how to do it. So, you know, if you were looking at this trade, for instance, and you missed it all the way down here, could you actually still take this trade? I don't want to edit that. I want to draw on it. Where's my drawing? Let's see. No, we don't want to save it either. Bear with me a second. I got to get to that drawing tool real quick. Here we go. All right, let's see here. Draw. All right, so let's say, for instance, that you're looking at this chart, and this is like real-time stuff, but let's say that you missed this trade right here. I don't know why that didn't do my drawing tool. Say you missed that trade right there, okay, a trend line. All right, but you're starting to see the market just start stair-stepping up. Could you take a trade right there, boxing it in? Keep in mind, I can't hardly draw a straight line with this silly tool. It doesn't draw lines. Could you take a trade there as it broke that little box, putting your stop? Yes. See what I mean? Because what if this thing went all the way up to here? That's when they run them and you get those monster trades and you can make some really good money on it. So, you know, keep in mind you don't have to wait for those minimum criteria trades if you don't want to. Now here's actually a mid-band trade setting up right here, right? What do you think? Let's see if we can get it. Where's our swing? Thrust, retrace, thrust. Our swing's right there. Let's draw a region. Whoop. And we know it can't take this out because you got a high over here and a high here. If we're going to head up, that is, right? Now, if we're not going to head up, it could take this out. Okay, so we're going to keep moving our box. We expect a higher low. It could be anywhere down this little sweet spot, or it could be right now as far as that goes. There's why I kind of expect it right there. Looks like it's going to get it. We got it. Now we'd have to put our stop just right underneath that swing. That's still 11 ticks, by the way. So could this trade cost me? This trade could cost me, but that's a legitimate trade. Okay? That's a legitimate trade and we were diagnosing it in real time. If that would have taken out that line that I've got drawn, you would no longer be heading up. Everybody see that? Okay. Now, when you start getting these phantom type trades or close to phantom type trades, start realizing that now you've got a support level that's trying to set up. This is your true support level right here. And this is your resistance level right here. You're going to want to take some coin off that table at that resistance line, right? Because this could actually start going a little bit more, not straight up type things. But see, we still nailed a trade. That's one of my favorite trades right there too. That's a box trade. And you just simply box it in and see where resistance was on the left. You know, you had a little thrust, retrace, thrust. Resistance was right there. You could have technically even put it above mid-band if you wanted to. Some of our people do that. Let's see, you could have, yeah, with wedge. Absolutely. So you could have drawn a wedge like this. Tight wedge. The wiggly stuff always confuses me. I end up closing out. When you mean wiggly, you mean what's the difference between wedge and ray? Cross, on your question, the ray on Object Trader is actually a tool that we designed. And ray is actually done with the insert tool. Okay. Let's say, for instance, that I want to do a ray here. Let's see if we can get a scalp just for the fun of it. And you have to hit enter on ray, and we're going to be going out the basically the bottom. Now ray even has what we call offset. Let me show you. See there? Ray has offsets on it. You can actually make a channel, to give an example, okay, with that ray tool. And, you know, let's say now when this says touch plus 4, that does not mean it has to go 4 ticks below that ray. Okay, now did we want that trade? Well, it broke a trend line, so I'll go ahead and take it for 10 ticks. Put my stop very, very tight just in case. Exit on close. Could that trade cost me anything? Only if they shotgun it. There you go. See, now ray tool, the way we design ray tool is you have offsets on it, and you can actually move the ray on the chart. You can even change the ray to be long on both sides of it. Okay, it does what these T and B buttons do. This is the B button, that's the T button right there, and you just tell it what you want to do. Now, I don't use ray as much as I use the wedge, because the wedge tool I like because, see, this one you can't do 2 of them, and I like the wedge because you can draw a wedge, you know, bottom and top, and you can take the trade either direction. Okay, but that's the way the ray works. Okay, you think we're getting ready to get another trade? Let's find out. Let's get rid of ray, and we'll draw a trend line. No, this isn't going to be ray. This will be wedge. See if we can get a 10 ticker. Let's see, I see wedge with just one line, so it's confusing. The reason for that is cross, because you can actually, the way we design wedge is it's like a region, okay? When you draw a region box, just think about this. You have a T and a B. And it's the same thing with this. See, this is my T right now. And if I have another one drawn under here, that would be my B. That's this B button here, okay? So right now, let's say, for instance, we're in this trade, right? You want to go ahead and stick this one out? Let's stick it out. Let's see if it'll work. Nice tight stop, close of the bar. See if we get 10 ticks. Maybe, maybe not. Whoa, that was close. They tried to get us. They tried to get us. Now, if it closed above here, I'd put my stop right here. It's trying. See, it's wicked above it. You can go ahead and tighten your stop. And see, that's just simply a scalp. Now, what if this thing goes up higher? Well, it could. We don't know. But, you know, right now, it seems kind of range bound to me. You can definitely see you got support here, and you got resistance right here. And just flattened out. Could you take another ray trade? Well, we just missed one because there's a short right there if you did a ray. Okay. Yeah, see, the whole thing is that, you know, we've tried to design all these tools to where, you know, there are so many good trades on here, good scalp trades, you know, good box in trades. You know, for instance, could we take this trade right now? There's a little swing right there. Could we try to get to that top again? You want to box it and see? We'll see. That, like I say, is another one of my favorite trades right there, is that mid-band type trade. Notice that I boxed it correctly also. See how you're basically stair-stepping down, stair-stepping down, stair-stepping. where was resistance on this? Well, it was right across here at that time. And if you drew a trend line, you can also see in your mind's eye that it broke that trend line on that bar to begin with right there. See, so that's a good box. And like I said, could you actually be doing some shorts in here? I probably would recommend staying with the trend simply because you could get faked into trend lines on shorts because this is still an uptrend so far. You want to see if we can get any more trades? All right, let's diagnose the chart real quick because we're almost running out of time. You have a high, you have a low, you have a higher high, definitely ratchet it up. So they cannot take this out if we're going to head up. All right, this is a high, this is a low, this is a higher high, but it didn't close. But they should test this one right here. And this is a little sweet spot for a trade on ES. Let's see if we can get it. And what's your meter to give an example? See how this is stair stepping down, stair stepping down, stair stepping down so far? There would be your actual entry right there. See it where it's stair stepping, where you box it. But we still got a trade. Yeah, I definitely tighten my stop, absolutely. Okay. Now, we didn't get as much of a chance to show look at that, where that came right down there. They love to kiss that mid band. It looks like we're going to get another 10 ticker. That's just scalping trades right in here, by the way, because we know that we're in a, well, you can tell. Anytime you get this phantom, they're either going to change trend or even close to phantom. This is a deep bar probe. But when you get this and they pull back, you can pretty much draw your lines if they don't take them out. You know, now they're taking them out, so where's your support and resistance? Identified is right there. See, because that's identified. High, low, higher high. Higher low, not a higher high. So this is not identified yet. Everybody see that? Like I say, it's a pretty cool way to trade. It really is. There was another trade just set up just then. Missed it. That's okay. I said I was going to show oil. Who wanted to see oil before we wrap? What do you think? I called some trades on oil on Friday. We did some, monster good trades. What day do you want to see on it? Just pick a date and we'll pull it up. What says the team? We basically start trading oil at 7:59 my time. So let's just pull it up and see. I'll just get rid of this chart entirely. We don't even need it. And we'll get an oil chart. And this is on the 28th, so I'm going to have to go to the 30th real quick. And we're going to go to that time. And let's see if we can together get some trades. And then we will wrap. Does everybody see my, memorize some of these trade setups? Don't be afraid to take some of these trades and even scalp. To give an example, if you think about, let's say you're looking at this chart. What if you shorted right here and you're riding like a runner? Let's say you got in here. Well, it's changing. You don't have to ride runners if you don't want to. You can actually just simply scalp here and there. Wait for the trade to come to you. That's what I recommend more than anything, is let the trade come to you. Okay, let's see. This is the 29th, so we still need to go to the 30th. Bear with it just a moment. Yeah, across the time that we do oil is 7:59 Central Time. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to like 7:59 Central Time. 7:30 is fine. 7:30, 8 o'clock. Don't want 8 though, because it's too late. Let it go ahead and change. Did I miss any questions, by the way? Let me go back through here. Need some help with expired. Oh, no problem. David, on anybody that's having any problems with expired charts on Viper, okay, you need to put in the new script. It's VIP Pro Ultimate X19 and take out X18, same name, okay? Or go to our website and just get that template that's on the member area. Okay, let's just go. I usually like to get up about 6 something, so we'll go at about 6 something on crude oil. That's good enough right there. Let's let it load. All right. We have our chart up and running, right? Okay. Now this is Friday morning right here. Okay. If you happen to get up around 6:30 in the morning, something like that, okay, you can absolutely trade these charts. All right. So let's see if we can get something on crude oil. What do you think? Does anybody see a trade that's set up already? Well, technically it's already setting up. See it breaking that little swing right there? Let's just see if we can get 10 ticks on it. We'll do our scalp trade. I'll load scalper. We'll see if we can get 10 ticks. Now this went back to 0. Okay. If this even closes, I'll take that, because basically what it boils down to is it would be breaking that box, right? So let's see if we can get it. And we're just going to do scalping, for like 10 ticks and see if we can get 10 ticks out of the trade. There's our trade. Just a scalp. That's all we care about. Now, I'd be moving my stop by now, but yeah, got it anyway. That's good enough. All right. Does anybody see a trend line you could do a wedge on? If they broke it, that is. Now, I don't know if we'll get that one or not, but we'll see. It is a trend line, so we'll see if we can break it. We got it. Not too shabby, huh? Not too shabby at all. Let's see if we can get another trade. What do y'all think? You want to look for a phantom trade and see if we get a phantom trade? All right. If you boxed in phantom, basically, let me just draw the box. Get back on there. All right. If you boxed in phantom, we're going to wait for it to actually get up into line 7, line 6 to 7. Wedge from 50, 40 to, like at 6:04. Yeah, that was a good right there. Yep. Let's see if we get anything. Nope, changed to taken out. So we didn't get a wedge trade. Now, what color is your background? Anybody? Green, mid-band. So what trade are we looking for? We're looking for minimum criteria, right? What do you think? Minimum criteria trade? You want to see if we can get 10 ticks? If it does it. Not closed below stealth and line 6 yet. Closed below line 6 and stealth, right? Let's try it just for the fun of it. Stop would be right here at this swing. See if we can get 10 ticks. You'd be surprised how quick this'll add to your bottom line, by the way. It's pretty amazing. Here's another setup on, if it didn't take out that top, we may get a mid-band now. Let's see. I think I just missed that one. Close below. Yep, I missed that one, so I'm not going to chase it. Everybody see I was trying to set up my box, didn't get it? That's okay. Mid-band trade setting up. What do you think? Anybody? Well, let's box it accordingly, and let's keep moving our box. I'll go ahead and do a touch. We'll do touch plus 2 since this is going below mid-band. We've got a phantom that we could get, possibly. Now, keep in mind, if you don't want to just barely get wicked into these trades, you can always raise your box just a little bit. That way you don't accidentally get into a trade, okay? Because sometimes they'll just close above and then they'll pop that candle right back down, okay? Now, if this happens to, we definitely have a trend change. So what trade are we looking for, everyone? We're looking for a mid-band trade, or we're looking for a deep probe or a phantom. So I'm going to draw some boxes and we'll see which one we get. We've already got this box drawn. These are some areas that I'm going to be looking for a trade. Let's see if we get it. Now, what if you break this mid-band and you just decided to short it? Could you short it and see if you could get, 10 ticks, for instance? You could try that because that's boxing it in also. You want to try it both ways? It did break this swing over here to the left, high, low, higher, high. So that is actually breaking down some. But, keep in mind, this is a counter trend trade if we get it. That's what I would do too, Walter. I only like longs myself on something like that simply because even scalping it, you could go ahead and give your broker some money and you could lose on a trade or so. And I'd be looking for the retrace trade instead. Your overall trend to the left is actually down on 4, your power meter 4. Let's see if we can get. We'll just stay green on this one, period. I'll hit the button if it even decides to go against us at all. Pardon me, had to cough. Okay, we got a trade. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because this is the trade I'm looking for, is my phantom trade. See, I've got a little swing right here. I could even bring my box a little bit looser, like right there. We got our scalp. How about that? Now your box would be here. See it? Everybody see that? That's a legitimate phantom trade, by the way. Why was this a legitimate phantom trade? Anybody? Midband is still yellow. Now, the background did turn red. That's a little bit more concerning for me, so I usually would tighten it up pretty good and put like an exit on close just in case. Okay, that way you're not going to feel a lot of heat on that trade just in case. Okay? And that's also, yeah, you got a low, a high, higher low, higher high. That should hold that low. But keep in mind, you can always protect a trade. For instance, if this goes against me, I don't really care that much simply because it's not going to hurt me. See what I mean? But that's a legitimate phantom trade. Line 2 to line 1, first time after a trend change, because you can clearly see that the trend change, I would put my stop just under that swing now. The reason for that is just in case they're doing an A, B, C, they'd take me out anyway. But if not, we should get our target. See, I'll show you. I'll draw the line, the lightning. So we'll draw it from up here. That's lightning 2. Let's draw lightning 1. Here we go. See, that's your swing. Took out the high. Hadn't closed yet. That is going to be more than likely become my identified swing, though. Not yet, though. Does everybody see how you can do this? I mean, if you think about it, you know, some of our people will go ahead and scalp on these charts. We did a lot of scalping this morning instead of trends. There you go. You just got to scalp. Okay. And let me ask everybody a question. Is this a better trade down here than boxing this in right up here? You know, what if you box that in and they take out that top and you're in? You got to put your stop all the way at mid-band. This one may work out. That's fine if it does. But not always that'll happen. See how that busted out of that? Now watch it. See if it may even take my stop. Let's see. That's why I don't like this trade as much as I like this trade. Okay. But you take it just like you do any other trade. See where this swing is right here? You got a high, you got a low, you got a higher high. If it takes that out, we're not heading up anymore. Okay, it doesn't mean we're heading down, but it just means that they're breaking on this left side of the chart. Let's see if that holds just for the fun of it. 10 ticks is way up there though. See there? Just tested. Just tested. There you go. You got your target. See how that swing held? They just wicked it. That's what they do. So everybody get something out of this today. I hope you did. And keep in mind, if your mid-band script has gone dead, be sure to change your script to VIP Pro Ultimate X19. Take out the VIP Pro Ultimate X18. Just remove it by going to File, Utilities, Remove Ninja Script. You may want to do that even if your charts are working fine, because that particular script is no longer working. So everybody go to File, Utility, Remove Ninja Script, and if you've got VIP Pro Ultimate X18, remove it. And then you can put in the X19. All right. And by the way, if anybody has a question or wants me to pop those on real quick for you, just give me a shout and we'll do it on TeamViewer. Okay? Everybody see now how you can trade these charts? You know, was that a phantom trade just then? Anybody? Well, let's find out. I'm going to just, for the fun of it, I'll take it. It's a phantom trade. I'd wait for that bar to close usually, but let's just see if we get a 10-tick trade. There you go. It's phantom. I trust phantoms, by the way. All right. And keep remembering, though, that phantom trades have criteria to them. When this mid-band is this color, you're looking for this phantom. When mid-band is this color, you're looking for this phantom. Okay? David, yeah, just give me a call, and I'll do that for you. All right, did I miss anybody's question at all? I'm sorry I ran this a little bit later than I planned to, but I wanted to show you some of my favorite trades. And, you know, Charles has his favorite trades. I know he likes to box, you know, a lot more. I like trend lines. And we're going to automate that little puppy right there. That little trade right there. Let's say that that's automated and you take it and you get $375. Wouldn't you be happy with that? 3 contracts on, well, $300 on CL. So for phantom, you look for close into the zone and then a close back toward midline. Well, no, Cross, on your question, the phantom trade has exact criteria for the trade. And I'll go ahead and go over it again real quick, but anybody's welcome to leave if they want. Okay, phantom trade. Now keep in mind there's other trades here. There's a minimum criteria trade right here. Perfect. Okay. Matter of fact, we even would call a trade like that in a heartbeat in the room, you know, boxing it in. But a phantom trade is you go from anytime you've got a certain color mid-band. Okay. If you've got a long mid-band, you're looking for this trade. anywhere around this line 2 to line 1. And you're going to put your stop at line 0 if you happen to get in at line 2. If you get in at line 1, your stop at 0 is good to begin with because you're only like 6 ticks away. But see, this was also a 10-tick trade. This was a 10-tick trade. That's a phantom trade. That's a phantom trade. Okay? That's simply going with the color of the midband, phantom 10, phantom 10. All right, your midband changes to a different color, which is your short color. You're looking for this phantom up in here, 6 to 7. And there it was right there. I don't know why anybody'd hate that trade. I love it. But you don't wait till it crosses midband to buy it, because usually as a rule, you're only going from line 6 to midband. And I'll take 10 ticks on CL any day of the week for like 3 contracts, a $300 trade that quickly. And I don't really care if it runs sometimes. Now, most times I will go ahead and leave a runner on. Okay. The criteria for the boxes, Sal, well, basically you want to actually get a little lightning going on, or at least a 1, 2, 3 reversal. Lightning is simply this right here. See where this did this, pull back, and then you got a lower high right across here? That's actually what you would call a legitimate break right through here, if you were looking at that. Now, I would be aggressive and I'd take line 7 in a heartbeat, but this is actually a high, a low, a lower high when it takes out this low. And it took out that low right there. Okay, that's lightning 1. Okay, what was your above question, Lewis? I'll answer it. With trend line, how do you make sure you're going the right way, long or short, Gary? Well, you're using these buttons up here. Lewis, on your question, what you're actually doing when you do a trend line type trade, you're going to have to make the decision as the trader as to which way you want to go. But you just simply tell Object Trader which way you do want. For instance, if I wanted this little trade right here, to give an example, okay, if I wanted to take a short on this and I used my wedge, I grab my ray tool right up here, I put my wedge on the chart. You could even do a touch only if you wanted to, and just go for like 10 ticks. Let's see if that gets that trade, just for the fun of it. There you go. Okay, see, that just tells it which way you want to go. Okay, now this could take me out. Sure it could. But what I do with my trades like this is I stair step them with lightning. Lightning is not even forming right now. And by the way, this was the open of the market on Friday. So are we getting a high, a low, and a lower high as we speak? Yeah. See, and you can put your stop, but it even went ahead and hit my target. Okay. But that's the way you do trend lines. And a lot of our people just absolutely love trend lines. What if you think about this and only did this with one contract and did 10 ticks, 10 ticks all over the place when you draw trend lines? You might be surprised how many $1,000s you could turn that into with one contract. When do you use 2 charts of the same instrument? Bill, on your question, only when I use 2 charts is if I want to actually be both directions. In other words, I want a chart that I want to go ahead and take a quick scalp short that's just simply a retrace from a long or vice versa. But then I might still have a long runner going and actually using like midband as my stop. You see what I'm getting at? In other words, when they just start retracing, to just grab a quick 10 ticks. What if you got so good at this you could just do 5 ticks all day long with ES with someday 10 contracts as far as that goes. You see what I mean? Money is money. It doesn't matter how you make it. The whole end of the game is if you scalp it and you make a fortune, or if you run these things and you make a fortune. Either way it works. Okay, I think I got everybody then. I know I ran this one over. Did I miss anybody? Do I see a place to draw a downward wedge? Well, just like to give you an example, what if, I don't know if this will work or not, but let's try one. I'll try a larger one. If that breaks that, could it head down? Or if it breaks this right here, could it head up? Let's find out. That's a wedge right there, by the way. I mean, that's a big wedge. I don't like a big wedge like that, but let's see if it works. Just for a scalp. Now I'd be redrawing it, obviously. There you go. Here you go. That's a scalp. Okay? That turned into a pretty decent little scalp, didn't it? See how trend lines work on your charts? Definitely a good way to trade. Okay, now, will some of them not work out? Absolutely, some of them will not work out. Okay? Especially if you start going really against everything. But when you're going sideways and you draw a trend line, you get 10 ticks. You draw a trend line, you get 10 ticks. You know, they seem to work. All right, Misha, on your question, can you come back next week? Yeah, give Linda a shout on Viper Licensing at vipertradingsystems.com, and she'll get you the invite for next week. Okay? And again, I ran this thing way over, and I apologize for that. They say the normal listening span with people is 45 minutes, but we went twice that. Thanks, everyone, and you were a great audience, and we'll see you on Monday morning. Let's see, just tested NQ, 8 ticks trend change, first pullback to mid area, and use line 2 or line 6 for stop. And thank you, very good. Okay, good. All right, this will be posted, and I'll also post it on the webinar link too. Okay, and just remember, watch for these minimum criteria trade setups, watch for trend line trades, and watch for phantoms. Please watch for phantoms, and don't let anybody talk you out of them. They're taken correctly, they're great. Now, will you occasionally lose on one? Yeah. Okay. But when it changes, you know, for instance, if you had a phantom set up here and it never triggered and then it changes to this color, don't short it then, because you'll get taken. Because when this trend line changes, you're looking for that trade on phantom. And when this trend line changes again, you're looking for this one. Did it actually do a phantom later on? Somebody asked. We're running this one way over. Let's just see. Just real quick, we'll see. Phantom's right in that area. Now it's here. Pretty much did, didn't it? But let me ask you a quick question. Could you have drawn a trend line on that we talked about earlier? And you felt a little bit of heat, but that thing still went down, even on a trend line. Okay? And by the way, we'll talk about predictors here in the near future. I like them also. Okay, thanks everyone for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great Saturday, and anybody needs to call and get those scripts on, just holler. Bye, everyone.